Alrighty, you have your DMR, and it covers skills that should be fairly familiar to you. Also, this week's DMR is all multiple choice, except for the subtraction. But we've done subtraction since first grade, so we're good there. So it should be a lot easier for you to determine answers. Let's take a look at our first question on graphing. Use this graph to answer the question below. Study the graph. It's about favorite cereal. I see it's a pictograph. There are pictures. I see the scale or the key, either word, tells me that each double spoon counts for 2 votes. Each single spoon counts for 1 vote. That makes sense. And it is asking me which cereal has 9 votes. Be sure to note the scale. So let's take a look. This Berry Crunch has 2, 4, 6, 8, plus 1 is 9. Look at that. First answer. Berry Crunch has 9 votes. That makes me think of Captain Crunch, and Captain Crunch sounds amazing right about now. Captain Crunch berries. Let's do it right, people. Questions on that one? All righty. Next up, Jake rode his bike from 2:30 to 3:30. So I'm going to make a little timeline here. He started his bike ride at 2:30. He finished his bike ride at 3:30. I notice that the minutes stay the same, the hour changed, so that's 1 hour, okay? Then he took a shower. He finished his shower 30 minutes after the bike ride ended. Okay, so we're gonna add 30 minutes. What time was it when he finished the shower? Well, I know that 3:30 is halfway to 3 because 30 minutes is half an hour. So if I add another 30 minutes, that will take me to 4 o'clock. So it was 4 o'clock when he finished his shower. Okay. Questions on that one? Alrighty. How many faces does this solid figure have? Let's count them, shall we? On the bottom, the square, we have 1. On this front triangle here, we have 2. On this left, we have 3. On the back, we have 4. And on the back of the other side, we have 5. So there are 5 faces on this solid figure. Questions there? Okay, let's take a look at our next one. Which tool would be used to measure the weight of the item below? Here are my tools. Paper. That will not tell me weight. A ruler. Nope, that'll tell me the length. A scale. Yes, if I want to know my weight, I step on a scale. Same for the pencil. SynQ, focus. A thermometer tells me temperature, so a scale will measure the weight. Questions on that one? Alrighty, subtract. I know that I will need to write this down, so I'm going to do so. 312 subtract 87. I also like to stack them up so that the place values match. That way I do not accidentally borrow from the wrong place in my head. 2 subtract 7 is impossible, so I must regroup. I'm going to borrow a 10. Now I have 10 ones plus 2 ones is equal to 12 ones. 12 ones subtract 7 ones is possible, and that's 5 ones. 0 tens subtract 8 tens is impossible. So I'm going to regroup. 10 tens plus 0 tens is 10 tens. 10 subtract 8 tens is 2 tens. And 200 subtract no hundreds is 200s. So the answer is 220. 5. Questions? Alrighty, next one. How long is the object in inches? Well, let's just double check that they lined up at the 0. They did. Yay. Now I'm going to see this is a full inch, so that's 1. And then they've got 1/4. There it is, a smaller hop. Look at that pattern. So this correct answer is 1 1/4 inch. Hooray! Questions? Alrighty. Excuse me. All right. Let's hop to math, y'all. It's time. Okay. If you remember, our standard right now has a whole lot going on. Let's go review it. On your activities, you have an activity called Estimating the Weight of Objects. Indiana Lesson 5, Estimating the Weight of Objects. Go ahead and add your response. While you're pulling that up, I'm going to review that standard I was telling you about. There's got a whole lot in it. Here it is.
Today we will be continuing on with our estimating and measuring targets. Today we will be moving on to estimating weight. And remember, when we measure weight, we are determining how heavy or light something is. Today we will be focusing on choosing appropriate tools and estimating the weight in pounds. To remind you what estimate is, an estimate is when you determine the best value without measuring. You want to use what you know about weight to help you estimate how much things might weigh.
Okay. So this standard has a whole lot in it. Remember, there's time, measuring length, measuring weight, measuring, I always forget the last one, length. Okay, temperature, that's it, temperature. Lots of it. Our job is to get you to have an understanding of what measurement is and the different ways you can measure. Our job is not to make sure that you have it down perfect and know exactly how to measure every single thing in the world. Okay, so we're going to spend just a few days on weight so that you have an understanding of what weight is, and so that when you look, for example, at this full of water and this itty bitty thing full of hand sanitizer, you can tell me, I estimate that that water bottle weighs a lot more than that hand sanitizer. Okay, because of the size, you can see that in the amount of water that might be measured inside of it. So our goal is for you to have an understanding of measurement, not to do it perfectly. Does everyone understand that? Okay, so yes, we're moving fast because all you need to do is understand what weight is. Okay, it's not looking at it and figuring out, I know exactly how to do that. Okay. Today, we're going to talk about estimating. So estimating, remember, is when you make a guess without actually doing the work or actually doing the math, okay? We estimate all the time. Here's a way that I estimate. I estimate when I look at my water bottle and I think I can pick that up, okay? I estimate when I look at my desk and I say, ooh, I should probably have someone else help me move this because it's going to be really heavy. I didn't measure my desk. I didn't weigh my desk to confirm that it was heavy. I can just look at it and get a view that, yeah, I probably can't handle that on my own. Okay. So it's understanding when you look at something, getting a close guess to that weight. Okay. Any questions on that? Yes, Terrence.
Can you show us your desk?
You've seen my desk, but because you're asking, sure. There you go. Look, I cleaned it. Dun, da, da, da. Okay.
Still M&Ms or whatever them things are all over the place.
They're in a bag. And they're gumballs. That you people didn't win during Kahoot yesterday. Yes, Leah, a question.
So I can just tell I can lift my keyboard up because it's light.
Yeah. And you looked at it and your brain estimated, I bet I can handle that. And it tried to pick it up. Okay. It's the reason why when we look at a little baby cousin, we say, oh, can I hold her? But we don't say that when we look at our uncle. We don't say, oh, let me hold you. Okay. They're way too heavy. Our brain estimated that. We figured it out. Okay. Now, some of you macho people might say, I bet I can pick you up. And you're right. But it's why you hold the baby like this. And then when you go to get your uncle, you go, because you know it's going to be more weight. Okay. You're estimating that in your head. Okay. So let's make some estimations together today of objects that we will see in our world. Go ahead and hop to slide 2. Slide 2 has a problem here for us, and there are 2 objects that we're going to measure with our weight: 5 quarters or a loaf of bread. Okay, let's take a listen.
Look at the picture of the 5 quarters and the picture of the loaf of bread. List 2 objects that could be weighed using ounces and 2 objects that could be weighed using pounds or pounds and ounces. Then estimate the weight of each object.
Okay, so think about holding 5 quarters, so $1.25 in your hand. That's about an ounce. Okay, think about when you go to the store and your mom says, go grab a loaf of bread, and you pick up the Wonder Bread, the Bunny Bread, the Sunny Bread, whatever you get, you grab that bread and you're holding it. That's about a pound. Okay, so think about that. What objects would we measure using ounces? So the smaller object. When we're talking about ounces, do you think we would measure a PS5, a sofa, a pencil, or a rubber duck in ounces in that smaller amount? Terrence, which one would you measure in ounces?
Rubber duck.
A rubber ducky. Why do you know you can measure that in ounces?
Because it's a small little squeaky toy it creates air in it, and that's how you know it's light.
Yeah, awesome. So your brain has had some experience with a rubber duck. It's small. I can hold it in the palm of my hand, kind of like I can quarters. I know I've held one. It's got air in it. It's a much smaller weight. Leah, what else might we measure with ounces?
The pencil, because it doesn't weigh that much and you can lift it up without even thinking about it.
Yeah, you grab it, you got it. Okay, so we just got it in our hand, and that's about the same as having 5 quarters. Okay, so yes, very good. So now let's estimate how many of these ounces we think. Okay, think about a rubber duck. Think about how heavy your rubber duck is in your hand. I don't have a rubber duck, but I do have a rubber Hello Kitty. Ha ha ha. She's a little bit heavier than 5 quarters. Okay, so I think a good estimation would be about 3 ounces. Go ahead and write that down with me. 3 ounces. And ounces is abbreviated OZ. Why, Miss Sousa? There's not even a Z in the word. Great question, kids. Can't tell you the answer because some things just don't make sense. I'm sure there's a very good reason. Okay. A pencil. Think about a pencil. If you got one by you, pick it up. That's a lot lighter to me than 5 quarters. So I think that's even less than an ounce. So I'm going to put that as 1 ounce. We don't even think about how heavy those are. We just grab them and go. Pretty light. You can. Get your pinky strength up. Ooh, oh, I dropped it. I got to practice my balance. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right. So what we would measure in pounds then would be heavier objects, such as a PS5. Okay. Now, when you go to the store and you're getting very lucky and someone is getting you a PS5, you're going to grab that box and you're not just going to go snatch and carry it like this, like you would a pencil. Okay. You're going to get it not only because you want to be careful with it, but you're going to use 2 hands and you're going to kind of carry it by your body. And yes, that's because we want to be careful, but that's also because it weighs more. It's going to take 2 hands to carry it. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you can't hold it with 1 hand. Some of you probably can, but the point is we don't need 2 hands to hold a pencil. Okay. We don't go to lift up a pencil. Okay. We just got it. A PS5 is going to take a little bit more. Okay. So it's got those pounds. A sofa is also an object that we would measure in pounds. If your family has ever moved, like to a different apartment or a different home, or rearranged your living room or your space where your sofa is, you've probably had to have help. Okay, I guarantee somebody didn't walk in, pick up your sofa and go, "Oh, where do you want it?" Okay, there's most likely two people holding either end and moving together. And that's because it's heavier. It weighs in pounds. Okay. So an estimate, man, I don't even know, a PS5. I only play Xbox. What do you guys think? How much do you think a PS5 weighs? Now here's a clue. A notebook is going to weigh about 1 pound. Okay, a standard water bottle, not my goofy big one, but just like a water bottle that you get in a pack, weighs about 1 pound. How many pounds do you think a PS5 weighs?
10 to 15 pounds.
Okay, 10 to 15. I could get down with that. What do you think, Levin?
Same thing.
You think same thing, about 10 to 15? Leah, what do you think?
I think maybe 9 pounds.
Okay, so somewhere in that 9 to upper 15 range. Willem?
6 to 8 pounds would be my guess.
Okay, so you think it's a little bit lighter, 6 to 8 pounds. Go ahead and write down your guess, guys. I'm going to go with that 8 pound. And also with pounds, we abbreviate that as LBS. Why, Miss Sousa? There's not even an L or a B in there. You're right. Couldn't tell you. I'd be happy to look it up, but I don't know right now. Justin, we're writing and you haven't done any of it. A sofa, however, is going to weigh quite a bit. Okay, a sofa, depending on the size of the sofa, can weigh anywhere from around like 100. Some of them, if you got like a big old sectional with a bunch of pieces, can weigh a lot. And then you can throw in, if you got an electric sofa where it reclines for you with the buttons, that can be heavy too. I'm going to estimate a sofa weighs about 250 pounds. Okay, so they weigh more than my husband for show. 250 pounds. Yes, Leah.
My couch isn't that big. I can push it just putting a little force on it.
Listen to that vocabulary. Look at that.
I've moved plenty of my sofas.
Yes. So moving them by pushing them is a lot different than if you picked them up.
Lifting them and pushing them.
William, you're going to hurt yourself. My husband right now is throwing his back out. So right now I'm kind of single momming it. And it's because he tried to lift too much. He did too much. And then his back got thrown out. So
what's it called? You could, like, you have to get something removed from your body and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at slide 3. We're warmed up. We got a little bit of an understanding. Okay. Slide 3 is an example. Let's read through it. How do you measure the weight of an object? What is the weight of a head of cabbage? Okay, so let's take a look at this head of cabbage. We're going to choose a unit to estimate how much this this head of cabbage weighs. We can choose ounces, which they're showing you like a cube of cheese. Like when you get a cheese tray and you get a little cube, or you get a snack and you go get the bag and there's a cube in it, that's about an ounce. A pound of cheese, which is like a big old block, or a ton, and that's about as big as a bison or a buffalo. So when you guys are like, it weighs a ton, that's actually a real math term. A ton is a real math term. It's about 2,000 pounds. An elephant weighs about 2 tons. Interesting, huh? All right, so choose an ounce. Ounces are too small to weigh cabbage, and tons are way too big. So we're going to use pounds. The head of cabbage probably weighs as much as several wedges of cheese. So a reasonable estimate for the weight of the cabbage can be about 5 pounds. So we can see that here. The weight of a head of cabbage can be about 5 pounds. 4 1-pound weights balance the head of cabbage. The head of cabbage weighs 4 pounds. So our estimate was reasonable. Reasonable means it was close. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make guesses today and see if we can get close. Okay? So let's take a look here. It says on slide 4, Use the typing tool or the microphone to explain your answer. When would you use this scale instead of a pan balance to measure weight? So take a look at these two scales right here. Whoop, whoop. When would you use this scale instead of a pan balance? When might we do that? Leah?
To weigh yourself.
To weigh yourself. Leah, why wouldn't I stand on this pan balance over here to weigh myself?
Because that's to weigh food or items, and you can bust that really easily.
Yes, it's not intended to hold larger amounts of weight. Also, that pan scale requires me to balance it. So I would have to stand on one side, and then I'd have to pick up all of these weights that weigh as much as me and keep putting them on there until it was balanced instead of heavy. And that's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort when I can just stand on a scale. So we might use this scale to weigh ourselves. To weigh ourselves. When would you use this scale instead of a pan balance to measure weight? And then it says explain. So we've got to add. We could do this to weigh ourselves because the other scale, we'll say the pan scale, we'll be specific, because the pan scale requires less weight and a balance. And we don't want to have to balance our scales, okay? Tim, a question.
Estimate of baseball, but in this case, squishy baseball.
Yeah, so you could, I think you were kind of chopping up there, but I think what I got from that, I think what I got from that was comparing weights. So something that we could use that's smaller. We could weigh a baseball on that pan scale because it's a smaller object. Yes. Aiden G.
So we can weigh like about the crayons on it because it's smaller.
Yes, a box of crayons would be appropriate for a pan scale. Yes. Okay. Let's take a look at our next question. Which tools shown at the right could you use to find the weight of one grapefruit? So if we're going to weigh grapefruit, this right here might be able to measure the amount of juice in the grapefruit, but it would not tell us how much the grapefruit weighs itself. This is a balance scale, and we could put the grapefruit right here on the scale to get the balance. So this one would work. A clock measures time, and a grapefruit does not tell us time. A ruler measures length, and length does not tell us the weight. Justin, I'm really nervous for you, kiddo. We're on slide 4, and I haven't seen you working on your computer yet. And finally, we have a digital scale. A digital scale also measures weight because we can place the grapefruit right on top of this, this platform here, this silver platform, and it will press down as much as it weighs. So 2 tools can measure the weight, a balance scale and a digital scale. Any questions on those? Yes, Terrence.
We have to explain.
It does not say explain, but good catching up.
No, look with your teacher.
Yes, use the Oh, I see what you're saying. I attach that to that, but we can do it over here. You're right. Let's do it. So we're going to explain this answer too, because Terrence feels that we should, and it makes sense to me. So we use a scale to measure, because scales measure weight. So scales measure weight. The other objects measure different items. Like a ruler is going to measure the length. A measuring cup is going to measure the capacity, and a clock is going to measure the time. These are different objects that we can measure. Okay. Let's take a look at slide 5 so we can go over what your assignment is going to look like today. This is what your work is going to look like today. You are going to be shown some objects, and you are going to estimate which you feel is different, or is correct. I apologize. Look at the directions. Choose the better estimate with what you know about how much 1 pound feels like. So let's review 1 pound. Remember, the book told us 1 pound is about a loaf of bread. So if you go pick up some bread to make a PB&J or a ham sandwich for the pool, whatever, you got about 1 pound in your hand. I've shared with you that a standard, you know what, maybe I do have a standard water bottle in my gym bag. A water bottle is also about 1 pound. I don't, but I do have a hair product. So this is a hairspray. This is about 1 pound. Okay, it weighs about 1 pound. Okay. I've also shared with you that your notebooks weigh about 1 pound. Okay. What are some other objects that could weigh about 1 pound? What do you think that weighs about the same as those? What do you see around you that could weigh 1 pound? Terrence?
Me.
Nope, you don't weigh 1 pound. We can weigh you in pounds, but you don't weigh 1 pound yourself. Unless you're Flat Stanley, then you might. Tim, what might weigh 1 pound?
A baseball.
Yeah, a baseball is probably pretty close to 1 pound. So feel that in your hands. Good. William, what else might weigh 1 pound?
Hang on. This cute toy that my little brother has. This thing.
Yeah, some baby toys. They got to be light enough to pick up and to use by little kids. So yeah, that's probably about 1 pound. Aiden G, what might weigh about 1 pound?
Weights and meat.
Yeah, so if you get some meat from the store, like you get some ground up hamburger for a cookout or a pack of hot dogs, that's about 1 pound. Yes. Bella, what might weigh 1 pound?
A step stool.
A step stool. Yeah, you grab one of those. You got to reach up high into the cabinet. It's going to weigh about 1 pound. Josh, what might weigh about 1 pound?
This.
An art box. That's probably pretty close. An art box when it's full of supplies. Aw, William, what else weighs 1 pound?
My little brother's shampoo.
Yep, baby shampoo. It's about 16 ounces, which is about 1 pound. Yes, Levin?
Your kitten.
A kitten, a little baby kitten. Probably a very young kitten would weigh about 1 pound. Miss Bram's got a good one. A cell phone. A cell phone, a smartphone normally weighs about 1 pound. Not too far off. Great. Terrence, another guess?
Football.
Football.
So first, I'm not Flat Stanley, I'm Ad Stanley, and a thing that weighs 1 pound is a cord.
Yeah, like maybe a cord with the brick attached to it to charge.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. Lots of things. Okay. We've got pound down. So let's take a look. Think about a refrigerator. Think about 1 pound. Do you think a whole refrigerator weighs closer to 300 or 30 pounds? So does that thing weigh 30 cell phones or 300 cell phones? What do you think? Levin, what do you think?
300 cell phones.
I agree with you, sir. This is about 300 pounds, okay? If it were 30 pounds, that would be about the same as you carrying a class set of textbooks. And this weighs way more than 30 books, okay? So 300 pounds. So go ahead and circle 300 pounds. You're estimating there. You're making a guess. All right, a bowling ball, okay? So a bowling ball, now think about it. Someone's got to pick it up. Someone's got to roll it and throw it. What do you think? 50 pounds or 5 pounds for a bowling ball? What you think? Aiden G?
I bowl with a 6-pound ball, so I would go with a 5.
Listen to Aiden G's connection. He has gone bowling before, and the ball that he used was 6 pounds. So he estimated that it has to be closer to 5 than 50. Okay? He said, based on my past experience, I've done this before, and 5 is close to 6, so it's got to be that. Great estimation. This is your independent task today. Oh, we got one more. You're going to look at objects, and you're going to guess or estimate, is this closer to a larger amount of pounds or a smaller amount of pounds? Let's go ahead and send you guys into a breakout room to look at slide number 6. On slide 6, we see that a football also weighs about 1 pound. Choose the object most likely to weigh 7 pounds. So this is the amount given. Which of these objects is most likely to weigh 7 pounds? I'm going to send you into a breakout room for a 2-minute conversation, and I want you to be able to explain why. Okay? 2 minutes. Which one is closer to 7 pounds?
Not enough.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Okay, let's take a look here. I want you to show by a shake of heads, yes or a no. 7 pounds. Is that a muffin? No, not unless it's like a Guinness World Record muffin. No, okay? You can grab that muffin, go, okay? And you can eat it, and you're not going to weigh 7 pounds more. Unless you're a woman in your 30s, and then who knows. All right, baby. A baby, is that close to weighing 7 pounds? Yes or no? Yes. 7 pounds is actually the most common weight for newborn babies in that 7-pound range, okay? So a baby weighs about 7 footballs. So if you've ever carried a bag in from recess and it had a few footballs, that's about the weight of a newborn baby. What about a dresser? Yes or no? No. Okay, that is solid wood. Wood has a pretty heavy density. It's going to make it heavier. Okay. This is how you're going to do your estimations today. What questions can I answer about your estimations? And I'm lowering other hands because I only want questions about estimations right now. Questions about estimations. Yes, Tim.
How are estimations sometimes close to the actual weight?
So estimations can be close to weight if you're really good and get good practice. Estimation is a skill that takes practice, okay? It's not something that comes just naturally to us because we have to relate it to past experience and to things that we know about. So the more things that you know about, the easier it's going to be. Kind of like Aiden G's example of a bowling ball. He knows that 5 is close to 6, and he's weighed a 6-pound ball before, so it's got to be 5. So it's just making connections to the world around you. Great question. Yes, Terrence.
Can you share your screen and go back to slide 5?
Yes.
So, why have you been in my house? Did you see my refrigerator?
No, I had not.
Well, that's the same exact one.
Oh, yeah? Cool.
Mhm.
I muted myself. That's goofy. Okay. Your work is the remainder of these slides, slides 7, 8, 9, and 10. You are going to look at the measurements given and determine which is the closer estimate. That is your task.